And it's live.
Good.
All right, ready to go?
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, hey everybody, I'm Merrick,
I'm Sky.
and we are here at Comics Camp HQ, and we are drawing poetry comics this week. It's week 8 of Comics Camp. So if you want to draw with us, we've already set up a little one-sheet, 8-page minis, and we have blank covers, and I'll show you what we're doing with these, but these are 8-page booklets that are drawn from a single sheet of paper. So after you're done drawing your comics, you can actually make copies of them and share them with all your family and friends. And we have a little plan today. We're going to draw some comics based on poems. So let's pull up the desktop right here. Here we are. This is the desktop. And we have our comics ready to go. Now remember, by the way, you can head over to merrickbennett.com and become a patron of the Patreon to join Comics Camp 2020 and get all the updates. Now remember, on Monday, we started off with one of Sky's wonderful poems, a haiku that did you make this up this winter?
I think so.
Yeah, it seems like a winter comic about a winter haiku about snow falling.
I think that one was, we were studying haikus, I think.
Yeah. And did I surprise you with my comic of this haiku? Did you expect to see that in the comic?
I did not expect the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I thought I surprised myself when I drew your poem as a comic. I worked the words of your poem into this comic. So we also, in exchange for that, I gave Sky a haiku of my own that I wrote. A night breeze whispers, the owls along the river call out to someone. And Sky actually drew that into a little sticky note comic of owls along the river. You didn't work the words in, but you have the owls calling out. I love it. And I also gave Sky's brother a haiku.
Also known as Curious Pickle.
Curious Pickle. And for Curious Pickle, I made sort of a silly haiku, and Curious Pickle came up with, oh my goodness, quite an illustration of that very haiku. There's a wild waffle at the bottom. So cool. So fun. So what we did today is we're going to take a look at a couple of haikus in mini comics form. Now you probably noticed if you make these mini comics, whoops, where's my blank one? If you make these mini comics, you actually have 1, 2, 3 2-page spreads inside there. So what we did was we wrote the 3 lines of a haiku, and we collaborated on these books to make them read as haikus. We put a line from each of the lines of the haiku into each of the 2-page spreads. So that becomes a 5-syllable line, 7-syllable line, 5-syllable line. And now we're going to go in as cartoonists and draw out these haikus. So can we read people your haiku in your mini comic first? Here, we'll open this up and we'll read it to people. So this is, oh, I wrote this haiku for you, Sky, so you could draw it. A dragon soaring over enchanted mountains accidentally burps. Now, I don't know what you're going to draw on those pages. It'll probably be a surprise to me. And then this is a haiku we made. I wrote down sort of inspired by your poetry. Yeah, so this will be the prequel to a poem of yours. Here come the flowers. Here come the baseball players playing in the woods. Oh, so this is great. Perfect for me because I like to draw these little animals and plants and things. So I can draw a little adventure here. So why don't you put your book out here, and we're going to take pencils and let's do our first page. Yeah, we're going to take pencils and we'll do our first page here. So pencils first, always pencils, and then we're going to ink them. So let's see, we'll take a look at yours. Maybe we can, why don't you start drawing and I'll move this camera down a little so we can see what you're drawing too. Just be careful, it's going to be close to your head. We don't want to bonk heads here. There you go. All right. It's tough to draw next to each other because you end up watching the other person draw. Huh? Yeah. Now, I've got flowers, you've got dragons, but I think I can combine these.
I think that was a very interesting flower. I've never seen flowers like it before. Looks very
Yeah.
dragon-like.
Yeah, well, I'm inspired by the artists around me usually, and your dragon might look flower-like, who knows? The job of the cartoonist in drawing these poems, I think, is to stick close to the poem, but also to come up with something new to make the comic a little different in some way from the poem itself. My flowers feel kind of monstrous.
Yeah, they're very scary-looking flowers.
Here they come.
They come.
I'll make one looking silly
Good idea. Why are they wearing sunglasses?
because it's very sunny out.
I've never seen them wearing sunglasses before.
I love when you draw plants and animals and you start laughing as you draw them. Maybe some little flowers.
Yeah, they can't all be big.
Now remember, we can draw in pencil here, and then afterwards, we're going to trace back over it with ink. So if one of us gets done with a page a little before the other, then we can just be tracing over it with ink as we wait. Oh, these flowers look very monstery. And put some hats on them.
Of course, the flowers need hats.
Yeah, of course.
When it's sunny, especially.
Now we like to do these kinds of activities when you're looking for story ideas. It's kind of fun to take somebody else's poem, somebody else's story, and play with it, with their permission, of course. I'm going to flip back. Remember my little trick. I always do the cover last. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just say poem, art and poem by, and we'll just collaborate on it if you want to give me ideas. We'll say Sky and Merrick. And I'll make sure that's on the cover, where yours might say poem by Merrick, art by Sky. Oh, look at your dragon. Oh, that's so cool. I love the scales on your dragon. That's cool. That inspires me to draw dragons when I see other people drawing dragons. This is like a flower gang. I'm gonna, while you finish yours, I'm gonna start inking this. Yeah, take your time. We have plenty of time. We don't have to rush. The other thing we can do too is you can sort of rough out your picture and go back later and add details too. I tend to work a little faster, but everybody works at different speeds as we draw these comics. I like how inking over the letters and the pictures really brings them out of the page, makes them much easier to read. And that page needs a little flattening.
Didn't realize my dragon's legs come back like loons.
Oh, yeah.
Like when they're swimming, my dragons come back when they're flying.
That's what happens if you draw a lot of loons. Your dragons all start looking like
Yeah.
loons.
Trying to be careful about not making them, because I don't want loon dragons.
No?
Though a loon dragon would be awfully interesting.
Maybe the Loon Tunes could have a loon dragon section. Huh?
Oh yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Are you about done?
Well, I have to do the wings, and then I think I'll be done.
Oh,
with it.
of course, because it's soaring, so it has to have wings, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. While you're doing that, I can show people how the loon drawing from yesterday worked out. Remember, I was penciling that. Oh my goodness, it's enormous. Maybe I can't show you because we don't have a big enough desk. So that worked out with all that space and empty lake space there and the loons looking across the lake. Remember, we were looking at those Chinese landscape scrolls yesterday and drawing loons based on the principles of Chinese landscape scrolls, which was pretty fun. Maybe I'll apply some of that in my haiku picture here, in my haiku comic here. We'll see what Sky puts on. You want to slide that up a little so people can see what you're drawing?
Wait, let me.
It's a little bit of a trick to draw in front of a camera like this if you're not used to it. There it is. Look at look at that. It's flying up towards the sun. That is really soaring. And it feels, with all that space around it, it really feels like it's not just flying, but soaring into the sky. Where my flowers are definitely not soaring. They're kind of galumphing around here. Galumph, galumph. This gang of merciless looking flowers. I don't know why. I've always liked drawing cute things with fangs. Ever since I was a kid.
Everything needs fangs.
Yeah. Makes it just a lot more fun for some reason.
Yeah.
All right. Is your dragon about ready? Penciled?
Let me just.
Once it is, we'll move
There.
on to our second spread. All right. If you're drawing along at home, we have our 8-page books. We put one line of a haiku in the first 2 pages, the middle line of a haiku in the middle 2, and the last line of a haiku in the last 2. And now we're just drawing them out. You can draw what's in the line, or you can draw something to add to the line. What was your next line, Sky? Your dragon is
Enchanted Mountains.
Yeah, a dragon soaring over enchanted mountains. I have Here Come the Baseball Players. All right, so I think
That's so interesting.
now I had the flowers coming from this direction. I'm thinking we're going to have the baseball players coming from this direction, and they're not going to be flowers. They'll be I think there'll be a whole crowd. What do you think they should be?
All sorts of animals.
Yeah, okay. Maybe all different sizes.
All different sizes, all different shapes, all different everything.
Yeah.
What am I going to do for that? Am I going to do the dragon, or am I just going to do the mountains? I'm just going to do the mountains.
Oh yeah, not even draw the dragon?
Yeah. Wait.
Yes, erasers, always keep some erasers handy so you can edit your enchanted mountains.
This mountain gets very diagonal and interesting.
Oh wow, that is a tall mountain going right off. That is an enchanted mountain going right off the page. Huh?
This dragon had a lot of trouble flying. The dragon had to go like that. The dragon was way above it, just so it wouldn't bump into that.
Right.
That's why I can't see the dragon.
So the dragon is way off the page. Have a fly with a big baseball glove.
Cute.
Maybe we'll put a baseball into that glove. I think the mouse has the glove on the wrong hand. Oh, they need hats.
It's on his ear.
Yeah.
It's on his wing. That one has it on his head.
That's on her head there, and the cat can have a hat. Okay, they're my baseball players. Oh, I think they're going to meet in the third line. So all these animals and all these flowers are going to have a game. That's the connection. That might not have been in the original poem, but there they are. I love that when you you put down the lines of the poem, and as you draw, they become a little different. Sort of like what happened with our haiku on Monday. As I drew it, suddenly
Dinosaurs!
it was about snow, and in the end, suddenly it's about dinosaurs and the end of the world, I guess, and the mammals coming in and living in the snow. Yeah. So we look for those surprises. Always, always in our artwork. If you surprise yourself as you're drawing, then you're going to surprise your reader, right? This is a fun way to end the week, to take some poems that people you know wrote and turn them into something new. Here come we almost don't need the lines of the poem, actually, the way I'm drawing it. So I think what I'm going to try to add into the third section, the third line of the poem, is I'm going to add something that isn't in the poem that'll change the story. I don't know what it'll be yet. What do you have for your Dragon's Enchanted Mountains? Oh, look at all those mountains layered upon each other. That is beautiful. You totally picked up on sort of the fantasy vibe I was thinking of as I made up that haiku for you. We can adjust this down a little bit so we can see your page there. There we go. Watch out, it's right near your head. The camera is. We had a little meeting with a library that I was teaching at earlier today, and everybody just wanted to kind of draw together. All the kids who came took out their sketchbooks and their pads of paper, and they were all just working on their pictures together. It was really nice. That's where I figured if you didn't have a haiku at home so you could draw along, then you can always try drawing a 3-step story or draw any kind of page or picture that you're working on. Uh-oh, sounds like the dog's barking at somebody.
Who knows?
Somebody going by in the street?
Most likely.
How are those enchanted mountains coming? Oh my goodness, they're getting really dark.
Yeah. They have snowy tops, so they have their snow at the top, so they.
Oh, nice.
I'm wondering how I'm going to make this lighter than in this cave.
Oh, you probably don't want to color it totally black. We'll just put some light, scratchy ink lines on, like I'm doing with the grass here. See how I can put the lines close together?
Yeah.
And it looks kind of gray, but I don't want it to be really black. And we could do that on those mountainsides.
Because I think that's what I'll have to do.
Yeah, actually, you don't really need to color all the mountains in fully. Once you know you want them to be kind of grayish like that, you can do that as we ink.
Yeah.
And that'll save you some time. I'll do the cat later. Are you ready to move on to the third page?
Oh, nothing.
Before I move on to that third page, I like to take a moment to reread what I have so far. So let's see, we have Here Come the Flowers. Remember, we're leaving our cover blank, and we'll put a title and a picture on that once we've decided what this story is. And we're working from a haiku that's written onto the pages of our little mini book. Here Come the Flowers. So I drew my crazy flower gang. I'll finish inking that after. Then I have Here Come the Baseball Players, and I drew my crazy baseball team. Half insect, half mammal. And then I'm going to have Playing in the Woods. So I'm thinking I need a couple trees, but then something surprising that isn't in the poem itself that's going to add something to the poem. And then I have this freebie back page. I could either make it part of the cover, a big picture across the cover, or I could add something else in that really isn't in the poem that brings the story an extra step. Haven't decided yet. Can we take a quick look at yours, Sky, and see how far you are? All right, so we have blank cover, as recommended. Leave the cover blank until we've done the whole story. Oh, beautiful. I love this dragon going across the page, and you added in a flower. That's such a different dragon from what I was imagining. I'm so glad you did that.
A dragon holding a flower.
Yeah.
Because you were drawing flowers, and I was like,
Oh, Oh.
dragon should be delivering a flower to somebody.
So you took, so I was like thinking of dragons and that made my flowers monstrous. You were drawing dragons and thinking of flowers and that made your dragon more friendly. A dragon soaring over enchanted mountains. Look at them sparkle. Oh, that's so cool. Hey, somebody's watching us out of this cave. So that cave's going to be all black. Watch your feet there. That cave's going to be all black. And then it'll have like eyes glowing out of it. Very cool. Hey, look at that. Liz just commented, very cool dragon. Thanks, Liz. That's so cool. Thanks for sharing your enthusiasm. Yeah, that's nice to know someone's watching and enjoying your dragon. I like those eyes. That's so mysterious. And your last line is accidentally burps. Oh no, what's going to happen here? That could be
I wonder
mayhem.
what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on to our third lines. Mine is the game and yours is, oh my goodness, something's going to happen there. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's just dive in, shall we? I know I'm going to have trees, so I'll start with the trees, even though I don't know what's going to go in the rest of it. I think your feet might be making a lot of noise on that stool. We'll figure out a better way for feet to go next time. I think I'll put these in the trees, these words. Remember my little trick. I try to stay away from the edge of the pages because the very edges, that's where things get sort of clipped off if we make copies for our friends. Sometimes when you watch somebody else draw and they just start drawing, you think, oh, wow, they know all the answers. But actually, I have no idea what's going to happen on these pages. But I know if I just get my pencil moving,
It just doesn't look like me.
if I just get my pencil moving, I know something will happen, even if it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. I think I only have room for a couple of these players. I'll do my favorites. I'll do the ones that are easiest to draw. Does that look like a mouse with a baseball bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Actually, this won't be the whole ball game because the ball game's all through the forest. So I don't need to draw the whole team. Oh, I'll need to make this flower a little bigger.
I know. It's you're like, that doesn't look.
Well, that's part of the fun is sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want. You just have to either try again or work with it as it is. I think this flower is bumping into a tree. Bonk. Maybe one other. Oh, I'll put the fly over here. Running around the bases. Maybe the trees have faces too.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it looks like a vengeful wood. Sort of like the flowers. Looked a little monstrous.
What about fangs?
The fangs on the trees?
Yeah, do the fangs have trees?
Sure. Fang trees. Ooh, fang tree forest. I think we have an enchanted name for an enchanted forest.
Fang tree.
It looks like you're putting a house. Oh no, if that dragon burps near a house, that could be disastrous. Mm-hmm. Maybe some bushes, maybe a base. Who else did I have here? Oh, the bug. I'll put the bug in here. Maybe in front of that tree. So you can actually see the bug. Like the flowers chasing her. Bumping into the tree. Oh boy, this is a crazy scene. That's one more flower. Oh, the tulip. Zing. I'll leave a little, I don't have to fill up every spare corner of the page. Oh, Liz sent a suggestion. That's cool. Liz said, maybe the dragon burps flowers. She's playing off both our ideas. That's pretty cool. Maybe Liz has a flower burping dragon that she wants to put into her stories. That could be cool. I'm going to go back. I think my page is pretty full. Oh, you know what? Before I go back, I'm going to add something to the last page. Always a good thing to put on the last page. A wide angle view of the forest.
Uh-oh.
The ball going out, up, 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 and away. And maybe we'll just add a little special.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you guessed it. It's either a giant flying hat or a flying saucer.
I think it's flying saucer.
Just to add a little something into the story that wasn't there in the poem originally, and then we can play with that in the next installment of the flower animal ball game.
Okay.
Oh, you're adding a mouse into yours. Some of
Yeah.
these characters are ending up in your book.
Except for this is not a baseball playing mouse.
I think I have a title for this. Who should be saying the title? Who should say play ball? Playing in the woods. Ah, I like it. Should be saying play ball. Maybe one of the flowers. Monster flower number 1. Who knows? Sometimes these poems cause strange comics to come out of them. There we go. Play ball. I'm going to say poem and comic instead of art and poem because the poem came first. And this is inspired by your poem and leading up to your poem. Nice collaboration. Okay. How's yours going? Oh no, you put a forest into yours too. Nice. Oh, is that the dragon burping?
I do like the burping flower idea.
Burping flowers. You're using Liz's suggestion. Nice.
I like that idea.
All right. That was a good suggestion. So we're going to call that out and add in some burping. Look at all those flowers burping out of that dragon. That is a really rare dragon. I don't know what kind of dragon that would be, but
Whatever it is, it's a burping flower dragon.
yeah, there aren't many like that. The dreaded flower burping dragon.
Not that dreaded. They're pretty nice, actually.
Oh yeah? That's why the mouse has it over for dinner.
Yeah, I think so.
And after dinner, they say, what is that empty vase for? And the dragon goes, oh, I think it's for burp. And flowers fill the vase.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happens.
Maybe.
I wonder what's going to happen at dinner. I'm going to actually make this. That's what I'll do at dinner.
Oh,
I'll
there's
do this,
your
like,
back page.
the table.
Yep. That's what I encourage people to draw whatever you're curious about in your comics, right? Whatever makes you say, I wonder what happens next. I wonder where these flowers are headed, looking so competitive. Well, it turns out they're going to meet a baseball playing team and they're going to have a ball game playing in the woods. And it turns out there's other stuff going on too outside those woods. But it's whatever gets you curious and makes you want to draw the next page and the next page and the next. That's what our imaginations are good at. getting curious and figuring things out. Making new friends, making new worlds. I wonder, now that I think about it, if these are the flowers featured at the end of your story. Like if dragon flowers actually have this kind of attitude.
Yeah.
That could work. I think they're trailing dirt from their roots. They probably leave dirty, muddy, rooty footprints all over the place, right?
Yeah.
All right, now we've got a connection between our comics.
Really, quite connections. Like I have your mouse.
Well, that's where the mouse comes from, yeah. The mouse
Yeah.
first appeared in the dragon comic.
Oh, actually, no. The whole mouse evolution thing comes from Longtail, Shorttail, and Curlytail.
Oh, yes, right. You
That's
made
where
up those mice
all
characters
mice come from.
years ago.
This is actually going to be Longtail. I guess Longtail showed up in this story.
Here come the baseball players.
I guess this is Longtail's house.
Oh, nice.
Seems like this is
Beautiful. You
Longtail.
want to hold it up so the camera can see too? Let's see. Yeah, look at that. That's not such a big dragon after all.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty small dragon.
Kind of mouse-sized. That's beautiful.
It's a mouse dragon.
So now this makes me wonder, that dragon probably didn't pick that flower. That dragon probably burped that flower into its own paw as it soared
Yeah.
over enchanted mountains. You know what? We still don't know who's in that cave. That's still a mystery. Here, that thing in the cave might come back later. But you said you had an idea for, oh yeah, you started. Oh, there they are at the dinner table
I'm going to finish doing that.
with a vase.
It has that empty vase.
Whoop, watch out. There we go.
It's
Your
a-
head, you get bent down over your artwork and so absorbed into it. Nice to see when people get so into their artwork. Playing in the woods. Dot, dot, dot.
And my dragon doesn't like having a chair.
Well, the dragon just sits on the floor, right? Most dragons
My dragon actually
stands at the table.
just stands. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know any dragons who sit in chairs now that you mention it.
Neither do I actually.
I've never once had a dragon come to my house and sit in a chair.
Neither have I.
Must be something to that. It's nice if you get to draw with people, and some people draw
I forgot to draw the spikes on this one.
faster than others, then you can always pull out your inking tools and ink. And if you're done with that and you can help somebody else ink their comics, that's great too. Of course, you can always, you can also open these up. Some people like to open them up all the way and ink them, and then you can see all your work at once. We need a little more room at the table in order to do that.
Yeah, since we both have it.
What do you think? Do you have a title yet?
I don't think so. Not
Would you
yet.
like help with a title, or do you want to think about it a little more?
I might think about it.
We're just about out of time. So what we'll do is we'll finish these up. We'll open them up and scan them and post them so they can be printables. And you can print them out and make them into books on your own.
That's annoying.
I'll post them over at the Patreon and in the Comics Camp Clubhouse. So you can check out our handiwork. But I bet if you have a favorite poem or even an amateur poet or a professional poet in your family who wants to contribute a poem, if you put 3 lines or 6 lines or
Or 8 lines.
or 8 lines, beginning, middle, end of the poem into a mini comic and then draw it, or you put your poem into a comic and ask somebody else to draw it, you'll come up with some surprising results. You'll find some new worlds. You'll stretch your imagination. make some new friends. I kind of want to hang out with this flower gang.
I kind of want to hang out with this dragon. It seems really nice.
Maybe it'll have more adventures. I hope someday it goes back into those mountains.
I kind of want it to meet this
Finds out exactly.
this creature because I'm pretty sure it's like giant.
Yeah.
And this guy will be like, I'll have to draw him really simply for it to do size comparison.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I hope it goes back into the mountains and finds out who's in that cave. The mystery, the curiosity.
Ow,
Bring the
that
readers
must
back.
hurt.
Yep, bonk right into the tree.
Just seems like it would really hurt. I don't want to have that happen.
Maybe that's too bonky, but I think some people like the bonking. A couple bonk scenes in a baseball story, you know?
Yeah.
That makes some readers laugh.
Yeah.
They like the
It's
running
just,
into
I
things.
just really like how the tree like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the trees are so mean-spirited. They're just tired of people running around and acting crazy and bumping into them.
Really wondering what happens with the alien.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to that. Yeah. That'll be episode 2, I think. That's my little
Yeah.
hint at another episode. Just like your cave kind of hints at what could happen next.
Yeah. Although, who knows how many adventures my dragon has before he meets
The flower burping dragon, the adventures of the flower burping dragon. Oh, this is so cool. Well, thank you so much, Sky. I think we're gonna, your cover can be, do you have a title for yours yet? So maybe we'll wait and we'll think about that. Your title can be a surprise. We'll finish it up now and we'll post it. I'm gonna open this back up and we'll say our goodbyes because we are about out of time. Sky's still drawing here. I'm gonna ink my cover and we'll post it. Any final words from the dragon burping world? The flower burping dragon world?
I hope this dragon doesn't get squished by the thing in the cave.
We'll find out in episode 2. And then we'll find out what happens with the flying saucer and the forest baseball game too. We'll keep working. We've got a lot more poetry comics and a lot more comics to come. Week 9 is next week. You can head on over to the Patreon and join there, or you can find these wherever you're finding this one now. And thank you, patrons and campers, for supporting us. This has been a really fun summer. We've got a lot of cool comics drawn, and we've got a lot more to come. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us today.